CJ the Smart Guy with you. And today I have an amazing fellow CPA named Rayven J. Moore. He's a partner in CryptoEQ, and it's great to have him on the show. I want to provide you guys with as much knowledge about accounting, taxes, cryptocurrency as humanly possible. So thank you, Rayven, for being on the show with us today. So how you feeling today about the new tax return, about cryptocurrency as a whole? What's going on in your mind, man? What's been going on?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. The year's coming to a close, and it's kind of coming to a close a lot more different than a lot of people expected.
Mm-hmm.
So in crypto, a lot of people were talking about a six-figure Bitcoin, $100,000, and here we are sitting under $50,000. So a little bit different attitude. So I mean, there's opportunities even now,
Yeah.
Especially with accounting and with creating losses to lower your gains.
Yeah.
For the year. But I'm just thankful to be where we are today, because looking at where we are now versus where we were a year ago,
yeah,
we're
doing good.
In crypto, we're doing great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I say that to people because March 2020, Bitcoin was at 4,000, and so even now it's only at 48. It's like, well,
10x.
Yeah, only 10x. Like only most people in the stock world, they're happy with 7-10% annual gains, and in this crypto space we're 10x, and then people are still mad because at 100,000. So yeah. So you had touched on one thing. You had mentioned taking losses. So I've tried to, I create classes online at u.sunjoin.com where I try to explain to people different crypto tax strategies so they could pay as least amount as possible in taxes. And so, what are some of your strategies in terms of taking losses in this crypto space?
Okay, so taking losses is one strategy. That's pretty much good if you bought something and then you're experiencing a dip. You can go ahead and sell out of that position to realize it, but then you can get back into that position. Cryptos have kind of different rules to them.
Mm-hmm.
Than you can't do that with stocks, but you can do that with crypto because they're not regulated as securities. Some other strategies I have are to buy long-term projects that I believe in. So if I hold longer than a year, that's going to lower my taxes I have to pay on that if I hold it a year and a day.
Yeah,
that's one strategy I like to use as well.
Yeah, no wash rule in crypto.
No wash rule.
How long do you think that's going to last? You think they're going to keep it like that?
I think they're going to change it pretty soon because the government, the regulators are always looking for ways to increase their revenue. And I think that's a low-hanging fruit for them to raise our taxes.
Yeah, regulators, man, they always trying to get their money. Don't think that Uncle Sam's not trying to get his cut in this crypto space.
You definitely have to pay your taxes. That's the one thing a lot of people don't understand. They just think it's not taxed for whatever reason, but no, it definitely is.
Yeah, man. And real quick, I want to give you a big shout out. I appreciate you for coming out to Naj's tour, the Digital Financial Revolution tour in Houston, Texas. I remember, so I came out here, I think it was supposed to start at 3. And, I got here like 3:30 thinking I was late. And then I realized that she wasn't even here yet because she had some issues, with the RV and things like that. So I came and lo and behold, Rayven's out there showing everybody, hey, download the Fold app, download Lolly, keeping everybody on point. So I wanted to appreciate you for that. Also make sure you guys check out my podcast. I drop Christmas Eve where I talk about, the journey through every city. I talk about Houston in particular on Christmas Eve. Rayven's on there. So just wanted to make sure I brought you on the show as well. So, one of the things that, you had talked to me about was a company called CryptoEQ. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Right. So CryptoEQ is a company that I'm a partner with. And what we do is we take the do your own research part of crypto and make it simple for the everyday person.
Okay.
So what we do is the main point is the fundamental reports that we provide. You can get all of the in-depth research that you need in one place versus in traditional crypto. If you're looking for how to do research on a specific asset, you might have to go to 6 different websites just to get the basic understanding of what that asset is. So we bring it all together in one place.
So basically, if I was looking at, I don't know, Shiba coin, everybody's talking about Shiba. I personally have no position in Shiba. I don't recommend Shiba, but it's, it's a hot topic. Uh-huh. So if I said, hey, I want to get into Shiba coin, what's the reports that you guys will provide? How would that benefit me?
Okay, so that coin specifically is not on our website,
okay,
but we focus on the best coins, right? We're focusing on quality over quantity. So if there's a lot of meme coins or like low cap gems, like if they're not the whole purpose for CryptoEQ is that we want to like take a risk-based approach, right? So we want to take the risk out of cryptocurrency investing. So what that means is helping people avoid taking L's.
Gotcha.
And if something is very speculative, it's not, you know, if it's not even $1 billion market cap, it's hard to consider that a top tier asset if the market hasn't even invested that much into it. So we're looking at quality over quantity, and we put these crypto assets through a 10-point framework. So, you know, these coins are going to be, we have 50 on the website today. I would say they're the top 50 in my view. And what we do is we give those a fundamental analysis on 10 core categories. And off that, we rate them gold, silver, bronze, neutral, or deficient. So there's some coins on there we'll tell you completely stay away from this. It's deficient, but then we'll tell you why. We'll tell you the risks, the opportunities, what's going on in that project, in that community. So that's one part of what we do is the fundamental analysis. And then the second part of it is the technical analysis. And what we do is we have the momentum indicators there. And what that looks like is a buy, a sell, or a hold rating, not based on the fundamentals, but based off of the technicals, based off of the price movement and the volume.
Got you.
And the third thing that we just implemented with V5 is the sentiment analysis.
And what's V5 real quick?
Version 5. So we've gone through many iterations of this website.
Oh, this is the upgrade. Gotcha.
So this is the new upgrade. As of June, August of this year. And we've added sentiment analysis. And what that is, it goes to social media and it grabs the information.
Oh, so it gauges how people are tweeting or they're Instagramming about it. So, you know, I know that a lot of people, they have like these little Telegram groups and these Discords where they're saying, hey, on this day, we're going to buy this and we're going to pump this coin up. And so basically what you're doing is you can look and check to see, okay, this has been mentioned X amount of times on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. And you do an analysis based off of that. Oh man, that's...
Yeah. So some information is positive, some information is negative. And so you can rank those and aggregate the information.
Man, that's nice. Yeah, for sure. I think the people need something like that because, you know, they're always going to get distracted. They hear about this coin, they hear about that, they hear about this. And like you had said, you don't even just have all of them. You say, well, if it's trash or if it's not even big enough to even get looked at, we're not going to have on the website. And so I think that's good. So, you know, personally, what are your like top 3 coins that you're looking at going into 2022?
That's a question. I'm not quite sure. I think this year from right now, Bitcoin is always number 1. So my whole goal in this space is to acquire more Bitcoin. That's my portfolio basis. I look at how many Bitcoin do I have, not how many dollars do I have.
Gotcha. You make sure you guys heard that. Look, it's not about accumulating US dollars because those go down in value. It's about accumulating Bitcoin because it's a scarce asset. Only 21 million to ever be created. So that's a nice one. So which other ones you got? So
like Bitcoin, I've been doing well with Terra Luna.
And
that's an asset that it's a decentralized stablecoin issuer. You know what I mean? So I like stablecoins. They're going to be good, especially through, you know, any type of bear market.
So
we'll go into stablecoins.
So is Luna a stablecoin?
No, Luna is a platform that people are able to develop stablecoins off of.
Got you. And so if they develop a stablecoin, because I heard in the finance committee with Maxine Waters not too long ago that not all the stable coins are actually backed 1-to-1 because a stable coin is essentially supposed to be able to, you know, be worth the same as the US dollar 1-for-1. And specifically they were talking about USDT and how it may not be backed 1-to-1, whereas USDC more than likely is backed 1-to-1. And so if somebody's trying to create their own stable coin, does Luna ensure that it's backed 1-to-1?
Yeah, I believe so. But the thing about stable coins is, I think you mentioned it, there's so many different ones. So you even have to evaluate stable coins on an individual basis. You can't just assume that every stable coin is equal in its merits. But there's so many. There's centralized stable coins that are issued by, you know, a Tether or a Circle Coinbase, or even a Gemini has their own stable coin. There's some decentralized platforms like DAI. I think Binance even has its own stable coin. I would lump that with the centralized ones.
Yeah.
Just because I think Binance is a centralized entity.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's a whole nother evaluation, is stablecoin by stablecoin basis to see which one, you know, would I want to use.
Okay.
So
But Luna. So okay, so we got Bitcoin, we got Luna. What would round out your top 3?
I want to say Lightning on Bitcoin, but that's kind of also
that's still Bitcoin.
that's also Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I would have to say Ethereum.
Ethereum. Okay. You in any dApps or any NFTs or anything like that?
I've purchased a few NFTs just to play around with it. I don't like Ethereum as much right now because of the gas fees are really high and it just feels like kind of expensive to use.
Yeah.
I think Ethereum has priced a lot of people out of having an enjoyable process.
For sure.
So I was hesitant to say Ethereum, but if you want to compare that to something else, like I've purchased NFTs on Solana as well, it's a better experience. But there's been a few times where Solana has been down for 12 hours, 24 hours at a time, and I don't think that's good for a project. Even though I wasn't affected by that when I was trying to use Solana. That's just not a good look for a cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So for those that aren't really sure what NFTs are, we look at those as like digital collectibles. So like if back in the day you used to buy baseball cards, you can buy a Topps brand, you could buy a Bowman brand, you can buy Triple Deck, all these different types of brands. And so now in the digital space, you've got these different NFT, dApps, or they allow you to create your own NFTs, mint your own NFTs like Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana. And so, which one is the one that's going to be out in the future? That's going to be the mainstream. Not sure. We might have to live with a multitude of them. Hopefully one day they can be interoptable and you can actually move your NFTs from one platform to another. Who knows how that all works out. But yeah, so I had another question for you. So me, we're both Black Americans in the space. We're both CPAs in the space. And, there's less than 1% of CPAs that are Black in this country. So, how does that affect you in the crypto space? And how does that affect you just in general as being a CPA? Like, being a Black American in the CPA space, like how does that make you feel? What are the pros and cons to that?
I think I'll start off with the pros to it. I think that if you're rare, then that's good.
Yeah.
That adds value to it.
Yeah.
The only downside, I think, is that everybody will ask me to do their taxes, where I'm a CPA, but I'm not the CPA that does taxes. Yeah. I do financial reporting. You're a tax accountant. I'm a different type of accountant.
Yeah.
So everybody just assumes I do taxes. I think the pros are that the credibility of being a CPA is good, especially because we're dealing with money all the time. And it also gives me a frame of mind, a frame of reference where, one, I know the rules and I'm expected to know the rules.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. And so I'm not going to be like chasing garbage or affiliating myself with something that, could ruin my reputation or ruin my license as a CPA.
Yeah.
So it helps with the ethics and the, staying above board, because crypto, a lot of it can get very shady very quickly. If you hang out with the wrong people, then you could end up, with a lawsuit or something like a big connector, scams. And I'm trying to, keep it on the straight and narrow and avoid, negative losses. I'm trying to avoid taking L's in crypto. It's a great way to make money, but then there's also all kinds of opportunities of people taking L's, whether it's regulatory or, just getting scammed or having losses.
Yeah, when you're an accountant, you got to hold yourself accountable first. You can't be, doing anything crazy. I remember I was studying for the CPA exam, and they said something like, if you bounce a check, you could potentially lose your license. If you steal from a vending machine, you could potentially lose your license. So, there's been times where, you try to get some cookies and the cookies right there, and all you want to do is kick it real quick and get the cookies. But then I'm thinking, nah, you know what? I'll just spend an extra $1 and get both of them. It's not worth losing my license over $1. Just, even in reality, I wasn't stealing, but just the perception of he might be stealing.
Especially as a Black man. Like, so there's like, one, you don't want to be breaking laws, but two, you also don't want people like coming to conclusions or having prejudice against you because of the way you look. Yeah. So then you might even act extra nice or, try to be above board 100% of the way. Yeah. But I think that's a big risk of, being a young Black man in America.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
I get it. So you had mentioned you're the financial reporting accountant. And there's one thing that in this crypto space, and I'm not even sure if you're aware of it, but if you are, I want you to briefly go over it. So right now, Bitcoin that's being bought by corporations such as a Tesla or a MicroStrategies, it's usually treated as an intangible asset. And so intangible assets, as you know, if the value of the Bitcoin goes up, they don't mark up that gain. And if it goes down, they have to, take a loss on it, which CEOs don't like taking losses, especially if it doesn't have a benefit of a gain. And so what do you think would be the solution to how Bitcoin is accounted for on the balance sheet so that more CEOs will feel comfortable with buying Bitcoin and keeping it on their balance sheet?
That's an interesting question. So I think mark to market is fine.
And can you briefly explain market to market?
So that's kind of what you explain as to where if it goes up, you don't. I guess mark to market would be fair value, right?
Yeah, fair market value.
So
yeah.
we would market at the price that it's worth at that point in time. So at December 31st, whatever that's worth, that's what it would be on your balance sheet as. That might be one way, but it's volatile. It's none of these ways really show the value of Bitcoin is hard to determine because the price moves, but the value is there.
Yeah.
So while the price is fluctuating, the value is continuously going up. So that's a tough question. I think fair market value is probably the most reasonable way.
Yeah.
But there might be some situations where the current way, where if it goes down, you mark it down. Like losses could be good for that company's tax. So like while the CEO might not like a loss, as an accountant, I might like a loss because it will offset my other profits.
Yeah.
So it depends on which lens you're looking at it from. But I feel like Bitcoin is a financial tool that can kind of be used in a way to, you can manipulate the books by using Bitcoin at certain activities, like the way we were talking about taking tax loss harvesting.
Yeah.
Right. So you could do that just to make a loss for tax purposes. So there's different things you can do with this asset. It could even be property.
Yeah.
Or like land. It would even be treated like land to where it doesn't depreciate and it keeps its value no matter what.
Yeah.
I think that might be.
Yeah.
Go with Bitcoin.
So treat it like land, but fair market value. So do you think it should be adjusted on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis, or do you think it should have like its own separate category? Like, because you don't depreciate land.
I think really the best thing to do would just start being to value everything else in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the Bitcoin doesn't move. The dollar is the thing that's moving.
Yeah.
So I should just have, if I have 10 Bitcoin, I have 10 Bitcoin. I would just put it in those terms instead of trying to convert it over to dollars and mess around with that, because that's going to give me a headache.
Yeah.
So we might as well, everything could be denominated in Satoshi.
Yeah. So basically,
my best case scenario.
Yeah. So basically, what you said is instead of the accounting being done in US dollars, let's just switch everything over to the Bitcoin standard, and then you take away the fluctuations in Bitcoin because one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Man, I like that. I like that idea.
I think Bitcoin is kind of like the ruler or the thermostat by which everything else should be measured.
Yeah.
So I don't think everyone else is quite there yet, but eventually we're going to get to that place.
Yeah. I think you should reach out to Lamar Wilson. I know he's in the process of creating like a book for policymakers. And if you reach out to him and, let him know your thoughts, the current way it's done, since that's your niche, I'm on the tax side. If you could let him know that, I think maybe that goes out to the politicians and maybe they can, put that on the books, maybe create some policy around it. Put Rayven J. Moore, CPA policymaker, partner in CryptoEQ, doing it real big, man. So definitely. I think you should reach out to him. Well, thank you for being on. If there was one thing that you want to let the public know, what would that be?
I think one thing I would say is to just be happy for wherever you are, and you have your health and your wellness, and to not compare yourself to other people and just stay on your grind. That's all I would share with people.
Yeah, health is wealth, man. I agree with that. Run your race at an owner's pace and forget the time it takes. So I appreciate you for being on, Rayven. Hope the best to you. Hope CryptoEQ continues to do well, and hopefully you can come out to our tour next year. We're scheduled to be in Houston, Texas sometime in June. And make sure you guys check out my podcast on Christmas Eve. I talk about Rayven J on there as well. So yeah, thanks for being on. CJ the Smart Guy. I'm out.
Everybody, follow me on Instagram at Rayven J or at CryptoEQ. The website for CryptoEQ is cryptoeq.io. Check us out, and we love to help everybody with their cryptocurrency research.